First contact. The message arrived on what would have otherwise been an ordinary Thursday at the Arecibo Magellan Deep Space Observatory. Dr. Amara Osai had been analyzing signal patterns for 14 hours straight, her eyes burning from staring at oscillating waveforms. Most of her colleagues had already left for the night, but something about this particular signal, faint but persistent, kept her glued to her station. "Hey, are you camping out here tonight?" Dr. Vikram Patil asked, pausing at the door with his jacket already on. "Just a few more minutes," Amara replied without looking up. "There's something unusual about this one." The signal had first appeared 3 days ago, a repeating pattern originating from the Epsilon Eridani system, approximately 10.5 light-years away. Unlike the random noise that usually filled their receivers, this pattern was structured, mathematical. Vikram sighed and dropped his bag. "What have you got?" "It's not random," Amara said, pulling up visualization software. "Look at this frequency distribution. It's two-ordered." The pattern pulsed on the screen, a sequence of bursts that repeated precisely every 127 seconds. What had initially seemed like background noise was revealing itself to be something far more significant with each analytical algorithm she applied. "My God," Vikram whispered as the computer highlighted nested prime number sequences in the transmission. "This is artificial." Amara finished, her voice barely above a whisper. "We're receiving a message." Within 24 hours, every major observatory on Earth had confirmed the signal. Within 48, the United Earth Council had convened an emergency session. By the end of the week, the most sophisticated decryption and translation algorithms humanity had ever developed were working to decipher the alien transmission. Commander Ilara West stood at rigid attention before the council, her military uniform crisp despite the 36 hours she'd been awake. At 42, she was one of the youngest officers ever to command a UE battlecruiser, with 4 tours patrolling the asteroid mining colonies under her belt. Her short-cropped black hair framed a face known for revealing nothing during crisis situations. "The translation is incomplete but certain," announced Dr. Sophia Chen, head of the xenolinguistics team. "This is a distress call. The civilization that sent it describes an attack by what translates roughly as world eaters or star devourers. They're requesting immediate military assistance. And we're certain this isn't some kind of trap?" asked Counselor DeWitt, his face lined with skepticism. "We can't be absolutely certain," Dr. Chen admitted. "But the signal contains detailed mathematical descriptions of their attackers, their own biology, and star maps leading to their home system. That's an enormous amount of intelligence to simply hand over if your goal is deception." Admiral Xavier Reyes stepped forward, his weathered face solemn. "The question before this council isn't whether the message is genuine. It's whether humanity will answer this call." The debate lasted 3 days. Some counselors argued for caution, sending unmanned probes first, or simply monitoring the situation from afar. Others saw opportunity, a chance to gain advanced alien technology by rescuing a grateful civilization. A few voiced the moral imperative. If humanity aspired to join a larger galactic community, they must demonstrate their willingness to help others. In the end, the decision was made. Earth would respond. "The Prometheus fleet will depart within 2 weeks," Admiral Reyes announced to Commander West after the vote. 7 of our most advanced warships, led by the UES Intrepid under your command." Ilara's expression remained neutral, though inwardly she felt a surge of surprise. "Sir, with respect, there are more senior officers who lack your particular skill set," Reyes interrupted. "Your combat record in the Jovian conflict and your background in xenobiology make you uniquely qualified. Not everyone agrees with my choice, Commander. Prove them wrong." The Prometheus fleet represented Earth's most formidable military achievement. Warships designed after the resource wars had forced humanity to develop weapons of unprecedented power. The UES Intrepid was a marvel of engineering, a kilometer-long battlecruiser with a crew of 2,000, fusion-powered engines, and weapon systems that could reduce a small moon to rubble. As preparations for the mission accelerated, Ilara assembled her senior staff. Lieutenant Commander Jackson Zhao would serve as her tactical officer, Dr. Maya Patel as Chief Science Officer, and Major Damon Riley would command the Marine contingent. Each was chosen not just for their expertise, but for their adaptability, a crucial trait when venturing into the unknown. The journey will take approximately 42 days using the new Shaw Fujikawa drives, Ilara explained during their first briefing. Based on the time delay in receiving the transmission, we're likely arriving years after it was sent. We don't know what we'll find, survivors desperately needing rescue, or perhaps nothing but ruins. Or an ambush, Major Riley added grimly. Ilara nodded, which is why we go prepared for any scenario. The fleet carries enough firepower to obliterate a small continent, but our primary mission is humanitarian. We save who we can, learn what we can, and protect Earth's interests. As launch day approached, Dr. Amara Osi joined the mission as the lead communications specialist. Her intimate knowledge of the alien signal made her presence essential. Have you deciphered anything more? Ilara asked her during their first meeting aboard the Intrepid. Only fragments, Amara admitted. They call themselves the Nelvarans. Their biology is silicon-carbon-based, quite different from our own. And they're old. Their civilization has existed for at least 30,000 Earth years. And their attackers. Amara's expression darkened. The translation is difficult, but they describe them as crystal mines or crystal hunters. Apparently, they consume resources on a planetary scale, and they've been methodically exterminating the Nelvarans for decades. The day of departure arrived with global attention focused on the Prometheus fleet. Hovering in Earth orbit, the 7 warships gleamed in the sunlight. The Intrepid, Resolute, Dauntless, Valiant, Guardian, Defiant, and Sovereign. Each represented the pinnacle of human military engineering, vessels that had never before ventured beyond the solar system. From the bridge of the Intrepid, Ilara addressed the combined crews of all 7 ships. Men and women of the Prometheus fleet, today we embark on the most significant mission in human history. We travel across interstellar space to answer a call for help from another civilization. We don't know what we'll find. Survivors in need of our assistance, or perhaps only the echoes of a lost people. But we go to show that humanity answers when called. She paused, looking at the determined faces on her bridge. We carry with us not just the hopes of Earth, but a fundamental promise that in this vast universe, no cry for help should go unanswered. Humanity has heard. Humanity responds. The massive antimatter engines of the 7 warships ignited simultaneously. The fleet accelerated away from Earth orbit, their hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight as they moved beyond the gravitational influence of the sun. When they reached the calculated jump point, the Shaw Fujikawa drives activated. The fabric of space itself seemed to bend and twist around them. In a flash of brilliant light, the Prometheus fleet vanished into the depths of interstellar space, humanity's deadliest weapons racing toward an unknown fate, carrying Earth's answer to a desperate plea that had crossed the stars. As the fleet traveled through the void between stars, Ilara spent countless hours studying the Nelvaran distress call with Dr. Osi, trying to extract any additional information that might help them prepare for what lay ahead. There's something in the signal structure, Amara said one night, her eyes red from exhaustion, a secondary pattern embedded in the carrier wave. I think it might be a weapon schematic. They included weapons technology in their distress call. Ilara asked, surprised. It appears so. As if they were saying, if you come to help us, here's something you might need. Amara pulled up a series of complex diagrams on her tablet. Based on these specifications, they've developed a way to disrupt the molecular cohesion of crystalline structures on a massive scale. Ilara studied the schematics, her tactical mind already calculating applications. Forward this to engineering and weapons development. Let's see if we can adapt this technology to our systems before we arrive. Across 42 days of travel, The fleet prepared for every conceivable scenario. Marines trained for possible ground combat against unknown enemy forces. Scientists studied the limited information about Nelvaran biology, developing potential medical treatments. Engineers worked tirelessly to integrate the alien weapon concepts into Earth's existing technology. As they neared their destination, tension mounted throughout the fleet. They were venturing where no humans had gone before, answering a call from a species no human had ever met, potentially facing an enemy no human had ever fought. Final reports. Ilara commanded as they prepared for the jump to normal space near Epsilon Eridani. All ships report ready status. Commander, Lieutenant Commander Geo confirmed. Weapons systems at full capacity, reported Lieutenant Santos from Tactical. Medical bays prepped for possible casualties, added Dr. Reeves, the chief medical officer. Ilara took a deep breath, centering herself before the moment of truth. Prepare for transition to normal space. All hands to battle stations. The Shah Fujikoa drives powered down as the ships prepared to re-enter normal space. Around them, the twisted reality of FTL travel began to stabilize. Transition complete in 3, 2, 1. The view screens flickered from the distortion of folded space before stabilizing to show a distant yellow star. Epsilon Eridani, the source of the desperate plea that had traveled 10.5 light-years to reach Earth. What they found there would forever change humanity's place in the cosmos. The shattered world. The transition back to normal space was silent but jarring. Commander Ilara West gripped her command chair as the Intrepid's massive hull shuddered around her. The view screens flickered from the distortion of folded space before stabilizing to show the Epsilon Eridani system. Transition complete, reported Navigator Chen. All ships present and accounted for. Full sensor sweep, Ilara ordered. I want to know everything about this system. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, each focused on their station. The 7 ships of the Prometheus fleet maintained their defensive formation as they gathered information about their surroundings. Commander called Lieutenant Rivera from the sensor station, her voice tight with tension. I'm detecting massive radiation signatures from the 3rd planet, the source of the distress signal. On screen, Ilara commanded. The main view screen showed an image that silenced the bridge. What should have been a habitable world was now a scared, broken sphere. Vast portions of its surface glowed with residual heat, while others showed the characteristic patterns of massive impact events. The planet's atmosphere was gone, its oceans boiled away. Life signs? Dr. Patil asked, though her tone suggested she already knew the answer. None, Dr. Rivera replied softly. The planet is dead. Dr. Osai stepped forward, her face pale. This was their homeworld. This is what they were warning about. How long ago did this happen? Ilara asked, her voice steady despite the horror before her. Dr. Patil consulted her readings. Based on radiation decay and cooling patterns, approximately 4 to 6 months ago. A heavy silence fell over the bridge. They had arrived too late to save the civilization that had called for help. Commander, Rivera's voice cut through the silence, urgent now. Multiple contacts detected near the 4th planet. Artificial structures and ships in motion. Ilara straightened in her chair. Details. 2 distinct types of vessels, ma'am. A group of smaller ships with organic-looking designs are being pursued by larger crystalline structures. Energy weapons being discharged. The energy signature from the smaller vessels matches the distress call pattern, added Commander Zhao, analyzing the data. Ilara exchanged a look with Admiral Reyes, who had joined them on the bridge. The older man nodded once. Battle stations, Ilara ordered, and the ship's alert system immediately sounded throughout the fleet. All ships to combat formation Delta. We're moving to intercept. As red alert lights flashed throughout the Intrepid, Ilara opened a channel to the fleet. This is Commander West. We have identified survivors from the civilization that sent the distress call. They are under attack by unknown hostile forces. We are moving to engage. Primary objective is to protect the surviving ships. Secondary objective is to neutralize the hostile force. The Prometheus fleet accelerated toward the conflict, weapon systems powering up as they approached. The Dauntless and Valiant, designed for speed, shot ahead to reach the fleeing aliens first, while the Intrepid and Resolute moved to engage the largest of the crystalline pursuers. On the tactical display, Ilara could see the battle unfolding. The surviving alien vessels, 11 in total, were clearly civilian craft retrofitted with makeshift weapons. They were barely holding their own against 6 larger crystalline vessels that moved with predatory precision. "Open a channel to the Nelvaran ships," Ilara ordered. "All frequencies." Dr. Osai worked quickly, transmitting a modified version of the original distress call with human response codes embedded within it. "Channel open, Commander." "Nelvaran vessels, this is Commander Ilara west of the United Earth ship Intrepid. We receive your distress call and are here to assist. Move behind our defensive line. We will engage the hostile forces." For a moment, there was no response. Then a transmission returned, a series of mathematical sequences followed by visual data. "They acknowledge," Dr. Osai translated. "They're transmitting tactical information about the enemy ships. Feed it directly to weapons control," Ilara ordered. The data from the Nelvarans provided crucial intelligence. The crystalline ships, while formidable, had structural weaknesses at specific junctions where their geometric segments connected. "Target those junction points," Ilara commanded. All ships, coordinated fire patterns. The battle erupted as the human fleet engaged the crystalline vessels. The UES Dauntless and Valiant positioned themselves between the retreating Nelvaran ships and their pursuers, their point defense systems intercepting incoming energy blasts while their main batteries returned fire. The Intrepid, Resolute, and Guardian focused on the 3 largest enemy vessels. Earth's weapons, railguns accelerating tungsten projectiles to relativistic speeds, plasma cannons generating temperatures hotter than stars, and antimatter warheads, struck the crystal ships with devastating force. Yet the enemy was formidable. Their crystalline hulls absorbed or deflected much of the energy directed at them, and they responded with weapons that seemed to distort space itself around their targets. "Shields holding at 62%, reported Lieutenant Santos as the bridge rocked from an impact. "Their weapons are like nothing we've encountered before. Some kind of gravitational distortion effect." The Dauntless reports their port shield generators are offline, Commander Zhao added. Ilara studied the tactical display, looking for an advantage. The battle was evenly matched, Earth's superior numbers balanced by the enemy's advanced technology. "Engineering," she called. "What's the status of the Nelvaran weapon adaptation?" Chief Engineer Rodriguez's voice came through, strained but determined. "We've integrated their schematics into our secondary targeting array, Commander. It's untested, but the simulations look promising." "Deploy to all ships," Ilara ordered. "Target the lead crystal vessel." The modified weapons came online across the fleet. Instead of brute force, they emitted precisely calibrated energy fields designed to resonate with and disrupt the molecular structure of the crystalline hulls. The effect was immediate and devastating. Where conventional weapons had struggled to penetrate, the resonance weapons caused the crystal structures to vibrate apart from within. Fissures appeared across the lead vessel's surface, spreading like cracks in ice before the entire ship shattered into countless glittering fragments. "It works," Dr. Pyle exclaimed. "All ships, concentrate fire with resonance weapons," Ilara commanded. The tide of battle turned swiftly. 2 more crystal ships disintegrated under the combined assault. The remaining 3 broke formation and accelerated away from the engagement, but the Sovereign and Defiant pursued, their faster engines allowing them to overtake and destroy 1 more before the final 2 escaped into FTL. As the immediate threat subsided, Ilara ordered the fleet to defensive positions around the Nelvaran vessels. Damage report. "The Dauntless has sustained significant damage to its port section," Zhao reported. 12 casualties, 2 critical. The Valiant reports minor damage and 3 injured. All other ships report minimal damage. Begin rescue and medical operations, Ilara ordered. Prepare to receive Nelvaran representatives. The aftermath of battle gave way to first contact protocols. The largest Nelvaran vessel docked with the Intrepid and Ilara, along with Dr. Osi, Dr. Patel, and a small security detail, gathered in the specially prepared reception area. The airlock cycled, and for the first time, humans came face to face with the species that had reached across the stars for help. The Nelvarans stood approximately 2 meters tall, with slender bodies covered in iridescent scales that shifted colors with their movements. Their faces featured 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, no visible nose, and mouths that seemed almost human. Their limbs were graceful, ending in 6-fingered hands. One stepped forward, its scales shifting to a deep blue coloration. It made a series of clicking sounds combined with musical tones before activating a device at its throat. Gratitude, profound gratitude, came a synthetic voice. I am Sentinel Navigator Zexera of the Nelvaran Remnant. You have saved the last of our kind. Ilara stepped forward. Commander Ilara, west of Earth, we received your distress call. We came to help. Too late for Homeworld, Zexera said, a mournful tone evident even through the translator. Too late for billions. But not too late for us few. How many survived? Dr. Patel asked gently. 8,417. The alien replied. All that remains of a civilization of 23 billion. The humans exchanged shocked glances at the scale of the tragedy. The crystal mines, Zexera continued. They came from beyond known space. They consume worlds, strip them of elements they need, particularly rare metals and radioactive materials. They consider all organic life to be irrelevant, an infestation to be cleared before harvesting. You've been fighting them for some time, Ilara observed. 57 of your years, Zexera confirmed. They destroyed our colonies one by one. We fought, adapted, developed new weapons, like the resonance technology you use today. But they always returned stronger, more adapted to our defenses. Dr. Osei stepped forward. Your message reached Earth approximately 10 years ago. Why did you send it so far? To a civilization you couldn't have known existed. Zexera's scales rippled. We sent thousands of messages in all directions. Any intelligence, any help. You are the only ones who answered. The weight of that simple statement hung in the air. Of all the possible civilizations within range of their desperate plea, only humanity had chosen to respond. Commander, Lieutenant Rivera's voice came urgently over the comm. We've detected a quantum signature in the debris field. The crystal ships were transmitting just before they were destroyed. Ilara felt a cold certainty settle in her stomach. Analysis. They sent a directed transmission toward the galactic east. Based on signal strength, it would reach approximately 50 light-years. Zexera's scales flashed pale yellow. What the humans would later learn was an expression of fear. They have called their main fleet, and they will have analyzed your weapons, your ships. How much time do we have? Ilara asked. If their central armada is where we last detected it, perhaps 6 of your months before they could reach your system. The implication was clear immediately. The crystal mines now knew of Earth's existence, its location, and would see humanity as a threat to be eliminated after their successful defense of the Nelvarans. We need to return to Earth immediately, Admiral Ray stated, his expression grim. We must prepare defenses. Zexera made a gesture with all 4 of its limbs simultaneously. We offer our remaining ships, our technology, our knowledge of the enemy. We owe humanity a debt we cannot repay. Let us help defend your world as you try to defend ours. Ilara nodded, her mind already racing through defensive scenarios, weapon adaptations, and strategy. We leave within 24 hours. The Prometheus fleet will escort the Nelvaran remnant to Earth. As preparations began for the return journey, Ilara stood at the observation deck, looking out at the shattered remains of the crystal mine ships floating amid the stars. Earth had answered a call for help and in doing so had drawn the attention of a ruthless enemy. But they had also gained allies with advanced technology and intimate knowledge of that enemy. And they had discovered something perhaps even more valuable: confirmation that humanity was not alone in the cosmos, and that their instinct to help rather than hide had been the right choice. The journey home would be long, but the real challenge awaited them at Earth, preparing humanity for its first interstellar war. Alliance forged in fire. The 42-day journey back to Earth was no leisurely cruise. Every moment was dedicated to preparation, integration, and learning. The Prometheus fleet, now escorting 11 Nelvaran vessels carrying the last survivors of their civilization, had become a floating think tank where two species combined their knowledge against a common enemy. Commander Ilara West had converted the Intrepid's main cargo bay into a joint command center where human and Nelvaran experts worked side by side. The space hummed with activity as holographic displays showed star charts, weapon designs, and defense scenarios. Their primary strategy is overwhelming force, explained Sentinel Tactician Vexlor, the highest-ranking military officer among the Nelvaran survivors. His scales shifted between deep purple and amber as he manipulated a holographic display showing crystal mine battle formations. They send reconnaissance units first, like the ones we encountered, followed by extraction fleets. Admiral Rice studied the display intently. How many ships in a typical extraction fleet? Between 60 and 80 vessels of varying size, Vexlor replied. Their largest ships are approximately 3 times the size of your Intrepid. Chief Engineer Rodriguez whistled softly. And their weapons technology. They use what we call void lances, directed energy weapons that create localized gravitational distortions. They can literally tear a ship apart by creating different gravitational fields across its structure. Ilara frowned. Yet you develop defenses against them. Partial defenses, Vexlor corrected. Our resonance technology disrupts their crystalline structure, but they adapt quickly. Each engagement requires recalibration of the resonance frequencies. Throughout the fleet, similar collaborations were underway. On the UES Guardian, Nelvaran bioengineers worked with human medical staff to solve the challenges of their different biologies. The silicon-carbon hybrid nature of Nelvaran physiology fascinated Earth's xenobiologists, while the Nelvarans were equally intrigued by human biological adaptability. On the UES Sovereign, weapons specialists from both species were testing prototype integration of Nelvaran resonance technology with Earth's more conventional armaments. The key is synchronization, explained Dr. Paddle during one of the daily briefings. If we can create a cascading resonance effect by coordinating multiple weapon platforms, we might be able to shatter their larger vessels before they can adapt. Not all interactions were strictly military or scientific. Cultural exchange became an essential component of building trust between the species. Humans learned that Nelvarans communicated not just through sounds, but through color shifts in their scales, a visual language as complex as any spoken one. The Nelvarans were fascinated by human art, particularly music, which their four-eyed vision perceived differently than humans. Your harmony creates patterns we can see, explained elder scholar Nerixa to a group of off-duty crew members who had organized an impromptu concert. When your instruments play together, the sound waves create visible ripples that are beautiful. 17 days into the journey, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Lieutenant Amina Hassan, a junior communications officer, noticed similarities between crystal mine transmission patterns and certain quantum oscillations observed in their weapon systems. I think their communications and weapons used the same fundamental technology, she explained to Ilara and the senior staff. If that's true, we might be able to disrupt both with a properly calibrated resonance field. This insight led to the development of what would later be called quantum jamming, technology designed to disable crystal mine communications, potentially leaving their highly coordinated fleet in disarray. As they approached Earth, Ilara sent ahead detailed reports and technical specifications. The United Earth Council immediately declared a global state of emergency, mobilizing industrial and military resources on an unprecedented scale. The Prometheus fleet emerged from FTL on the outskirts of the solar system. A welcoming committee awaited them. 30 newly commissioned warships, built during their absence as part of Earth's accelerated defense program. Impressive, Sentinel Navigator Zexera commented from beside Ilara on the bridge. Your species builds quickly. When properly motivated, Ilara replied with a grim smile. And there's more waiting at Earth. Indeed, as they approached their home planet, the full scale of humanity's preparation became evident. Orbital defense platforms ringed the Earth like a metallic belt. The lunar colonies had been converted to manufacturing centers, producing weapons and ships around the clock. Mars glowed with the energy signatures of newly installed planetary shield generators. The arrival of the Nelvarans created a sensation on Earth. Despite the military threat looming over the planet, the confirmation of intelligent alien life, and the first case of interspecies cooperation, inspired a wave of unity across human civilization. The United Earth Council convened a special session to welcome the Nelvaran leadership and formalize their alliance. Elder Sovereign Talazin, the highest authority among the survivors, addressed the assembled human leadership. We have lost our homeworld, our colonies, and most of our people to the crystal mines, the elder Nelvaran stated, its scales shifting through shades of blue and silver. But in our darkest hour, when our call echoed across the stars, humanity answered. For this, the Nelvaran remnant pledges its knowledge, technology, and remaining strength to Earth's defense. Though we are few, we shall stand with you against the coming storm. Council President Samira Nkosi rose to respond. Earth welcomes the Nelvaran people not just as allies, but as friends. Your knowledge may save our world from the fate that befell yours. Together, we will show these crystal mines that life, all life, will not be so easily extinguished in this galaxy. The formal alliance established, work began in earnest. The Nelvarans were granted settlement rights in territories across Earth, with the largest concentration establishing a base in the Australian outback, where the mineral composition of the soil was most compatible with their biology. Nelvaran scientists integrated into Earth's defense research programs, sharing their centuries of knowledge about crystal mine technology. Human manufacturing capabilities, far more robust than what the Nelvarans had possessed, began mass-producing hybrid weapon systems at an astonishing rate. 4 months after the fleet's return, the Outer System Early Warning Network detected the first quantum disturbances indicating crystal mine scout vessels had entered the solar system. They were destroyed quickly by automated defense systems, but their appearance confirmed the Nelvarans' prediction. The main extraction fleet was not far behind. 2 weeks later, long-range sensors detected a massive spatial distortion forming at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. The battle for Earth was about to begin. Ilara, now promoted to admiral and given command of Earth's combined defense fleet, addressed the 97 ship captains under her command. The enemy we face today has destroyed countless worlds. They consider organic life nothing more than an infestation to be cleared away before they harvest a planet's resources. They have never been successfully repelled from a world they targeted for extraction. She paused, her expression fierce. Until now. Until they met humanity and our Nelvaran allies. The holographic displays showed the approaching crystal mine armada. 73 ships arranged in a precise geometric formation that the Nelvarans recognized as their standard attack configuration. We know their tactics, their technology, and their weaknesses, Ilara continued. They know almost nothing about us except that we helped their previous targets escape and destroyed some of their scout ships. They expect to find a primitive civilization barely capable of interplanetary travel. What they'll find instead is humanity, ready and waiting. The defense plan was multi-layered. The first line would be the outer system automated platforms, not expected to defeat the crystal mines, but to gather tactical data on their current capabilities and slow their advance. The second line would be the main fleet battle in the asteroid belt, where Earth's ships would have cover and maneuverability advantages. The final line would be Earth's orbital defenses if all else failed. This isn't just about protecting our planet, Ilara concluded. This is about standing up for the principle that intelligent life has value. All intelligent life. The crystal minds must learn that they cannot simply consume their way across the galaxy without consequences. Today, humanity teaches them that lesson. As the enemy fleet crossed Neptune's orbit, automated defense platforms activated, launching salvos of resonance torpedoes. The opening phase of the battle had begun, and humanity's rage was about to be unleashed against those who would threaten its existence. Humanity unleashed. The crystal mind armada moved through the outer solar system with mathematical precision, their formation a perfect geometric pattern that shifted and rotated in three-dimensional space. Earth's automated defense platforms barely slowed their advance. The resonance torpedoes claimed 3 of the smaller vessels before the platforms themselves were systematically destroyed. From the bridge of the UES Intrepid, now the flagship of humanity's defense fleet, Admiral Ilara West watched the tactical displays with intense focus. Beside her stood Sentinel Tactician Vexlor, his scales shifting between deep crimson and indigo as he analyzed the enemy's approach. They're using a hexaform convergence pattern, the Nelvaran observed, designed to maximize their void lance coverage while maintaining collective shield harmonics. And its weaknesses? Ilara asked, her voice calm despite the approaching threat. The formation is rigid. They sacrifice maneuverability for defensive strength. If forced to alter their pattern, they create momentary gaps in their shield coverage. Ilara nodded, then opened a channel to the fleet. All ships, this is Admiral West. The enemy approaches in standard formation exactly as our Nelvaran allies predicted. Implement Battle Plan Prometheus. Groups Alpha through Delta, prepare for coordinated jump on my mark. Throughout the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Earth's defense fleet waited in concealment. Unlike the crystal mine's perfect formation, the human ships were scattered in seemingly random positions behind various asteroids and within the debris clouds that permeated the region. As the enemy fleet entered the predetermined engagement zone, Ilara gave the command. Mark. 37 Earth warships simultaneously engaged their short-range FTL drives, executing a maneuver that had been deemed theoretically impossible until recently, a precision micro-jump that placed them directly in the midst of the crystal mine formation. The effect was immediate and devastating. The perfect hexagonal pattern of the crystal ships was disrupted as human vessels materialized between their carefully positioned ranks. The resonance weapons, calibrated to the exact frequencies of the enemy shields, fired point-blank into the crystalline hulls. They're responding, reported Commander Zhao from Tactical. Void lances powering up. Evasive pattern echo. Ilara ordered. Secondary groups, engage now. The initial strike vessels executed sharp burns away from the enemy formation as a second wave of Earth ships attacked from the perimeter. The crystal mine vessels, their formation now broken, attempted to regroup while returning fire. Space itself seemed to warp around the points where their void lances struck. 2 Earth ships, the Valiant and the Defiant, were caught in these gravitational distortions. Their hulls groaned and twisted under the impossible stresses before structural integrity failed completely, sending fragments spinning into the void. But the price for those kills was high. 7 crystal mine vessels shattered under the combined assault of Earth's resonance weapons. They're adapting to the resonance frequencies, warned Chief Engineer Rodriguez over the tactical channel. Effectiveness dropping by 18% already. Implement frequency rotation protocols. Ilara commanded. All ships cycle through resonance patterns, Alpha through Epsilon. The battle expanded across the asteroid belt, a chaotic dance of destruction as human vessels used the natural debris field for cover while crystal mine ships attempt